Good morning, YouTube friends. Today I'm going to share with you some things that I do and don't do to try to help be successful in business, in investing, and in my career. Some of them might be unconventional. Some you might have heard before, but we're going to talk about some things not to do and a few things to do. So the first thing we're going to talk about is people try to control other people. You can't control anyone but yourself, and doing that is just going to frustrate you. I know me personally, I can barely control what I do. And me trying to control what someone else does, it's just not going to work from the standpoint of the fact that they don't like it. They don't want to work with you if you try to control them. And possibly, they have some ideas or some things that they know that you don't know. And your job in business is to not make decisions that cost you money. And so if somebody, is 17 years old and working with you every day, you want them to be in the situation where they have this idea or this thing they think's going wrong, and that they tell you about it. They say, hey, we're doing this. And maybe that thing costs you $500 a month, or, and you want them to be in that situation where they tell you, they explain it to you, no matter who they are, and you understand what they're saying so you can make better decisions. The second thing is you can try to own your salary at work. You can try to own your position. You can try to own houses, businesses, and things like that. But in actuality, all you own is what you do. All you can control is what you do, how you behave, and the way you approach a situation, how you think about things, how you make decisions. And, trying to own a house or two houses or 15 or 20 houses, however many houses you try to own, just will not work. I mean, the termites do not follow your commands. The bugs don't follow your commands. The rot doesn't follow your commands. And it will just make you feel out of control. But focusing on yourself helps you to, when there's an issue, to focus back on what you actually control, which is your own behavior. Sometimes in a situation, number 3, the battle is won or lost before you start. So I'll give you an example. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, Kmart was going to go bankrupt. No matter what they did, they were going to go bankrupt. The battle was already lost, and they were just fighting to survive. So sometimes what you have to do is determine which battle to fight, which one's the right one, which one's the right place to focus, what's the right asset class to be in. Sometimes you might try to win the battle with your manager, but you shouldn't. Maybe you should have a different manager, or a different company, or a different situation, a different job, something you're better at. Maybe you're just doing the wrong things. And I picture that just sometimes when you approach the table, you've already won by doing the right things. Sometimes you've already lost. And so for me, one of the ways I articulated that was, one of my goals in investing was to learn how to invest and learn the things that investors did, what they bought, what they held, what they sold. And so I could do the right things. Maybe I get an F at how I do it, but at least I'm doing the right thing. So I'm playing the right game. And so if you picture this as a baseball-soccer comparison, a baseball player goes onto the soccer field with his bat and his helmet and stuff. How good is he going to be at soccer? He's going to stink at it because he's got the wrong equipment, he's playing the wrong game, he doesn't know the objectives. And so knowing the objectives in the game that you're playing is probably the most important thing. Things like aligning your time with your profits, putting your money in the right assets. And so if you look at my other videos, I'm not talking a lot about restaurant spending. I'm not talking a lot about how much you spend going to the grocery store. I'm not talking about those things. I'm literally completely focused on what you save, what you spend your money on as far as assets and investments, and how you do that, because that focus will get you to a wealthy standpoint. The focus on the other 50% that you're going to spend anyway, it will not get you anywhere besides that 50%. You'll be at zero completely. Next, you have to win people. If you look at YouTubers, you look at Mr. Beast, you look at Ben Maurer, you look at Donald Trump, they are surrounded with people that are working diligently to benefit them. Now, they're not doing that from an altruistic standpoint. They're not doing that out of charity. They're not doing that because they're dumb or because they're blindly following something. They're doing that because, those people have won people. There's a level of trust there. There's a level of love there, and in order to win people, you really have to think about what is in their best interest. So if it is not in their best interest for them to be on your team, at your company, working for you, you have to understand that and be open to them not being there by their choice, right? So somebody says, I've got this job, I can make twice as much as I'm making working with you. I'd be like, that's awesome. That's great for your family. Somebody says, I have a job making 10% more. In actuality, they're going to end up with no money because they have no guidance. And I might say, well, you should really think about this from a longer term perspective. And so you have to win people. And there's some methods that you do that truly, that you truly do that. And maybe we use those methods with our direct family, with our wife and our kids. Maybe you don't use them at all, but learning those and understanding that is really important. Next, you lead people. You don't lead projects. Okay? You don't measure the outcome and lead the outcome. Okay? You eventually have people who manage things for you, and they worry about the outcome, and you worry about them. Now, that doesn't say you should ignore the outcome, or, if you're doing a house fix-up, you should leave it there for months and months and months without going and seeing what's going on. But it means that the people are most of the time more important than the projects. Now, there will be a time when the people need you to get into the projects, and you understand that as a skill set that is important for you, because that's your job. Your job is to know when you step into something and when you step out of something, and when it needs your skill sets and when it needs your job to be done, right? There are times you have to step in, and usually it's not from the standpoint that someone's doing something wrong, but maybe they're working diligently on something that is too big for them to accomplish, and there needs to be two other people in there, right? Can they make that judgment call and come to you and say, we need two more people? A lot of times people want to do it. They want to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, take it. That's people you want, right? But those people are going to need you to step in and say, hey, I think we may need to pull in this other company to do a portion of this work, to get it done completely. And it's not a failure on their part, but if you don't do it, it's a failure on your part, and it will cost you a lot of money. The last thing is, you really need to understand and appreciate the people themselves. Learn what people are really good at and put them in a place that they can focus on the things that they are great at. Those are the things they're going to like to do. Those are the things that are going to make you the most money. Those are the things they're going to enjoy the job the most. And so you need to understand that. But the other side of that is you need to understand what they're really bad at, right? You need to understand that they might plan. Okay, they might plan ahead. Maybe they just do it now, and they're really good at the now, but not the ahead. So they need to be compensated by you or someone else in that planning side. And so, if you hired somebody and you said, I'm really looking for somebody that's very, very, very structured in how they go about things, and then you hire somebody who's an art major, very flowy and very, right-brained in their approach, you're not going to get what you want. And so when you get people, you need to understand what they're good at. Are they good at the systematic work daily? I'm in 8 hours, I'm out. Or are they good at the peak things? Hey, I had to work a bunch this week, and next week I'm going to, take a nap halfway through the day, right? You got to understand people's strengths and weaknesses, and you got to appreciate both. When you really understand what people are bad at, and you're okay with what they're not good at, you're probably the only person that's okay with that. I mean, I can tell you they're not okay with it, and they fault themselves for that. And how much money does that make you? How good is that to the company if people worry about what they're bad at? I mean, if you go to the CFO or the CEO of a large S&P 500 company, and you take that guy and you pull him down and you say you can't do engineering, you put him down in the engineering organization, or he's going to stink at that. He's going to be horrible. He's going to feel bad about himself, his job, cost you money. Maybe he's doing the wrong thing. If you've ever seen Undercover Boss, you've seen the situations where that boss comes down and works in the Quick Trip, or he works in the chef place, and he usually stinks at that. He's usually very, very bad at that job. And it's not that he couldn't get better, but is that really the place to best use him, put him in there, empower him to do a good job? I just wanted to take a few minutes today to explain to you those kind of six things, and maybe the approaches people use that work out to wrong situations, to wrong results that they don't like. The ones I see the most are number 5, that people get in a situation where they're not leading their people, they're leading their projects, and so they're trying to micromanage their people to get a certain result, when if they would just step back and lead their people already know how to get the results many times. And so it's a failure on their part for that. And then lastly, the last one, understanding strengths and weaknesses. When you can sit down with somebody who's working with you or for you, and you literally can say, here's the things you are fantastic, you're the best at, okay? And here's the things you're bad at, and I'm okay with that, right? We want you to do these. People love it. And it's not the things you think. It may be the hardest things. But understand those things, putting people on your strength is one of your jobs. As a business owner, as somebody doing investing or running things, is to put people in the right positions, help them to move towards their strengths, and they will like working for you, they will like the results, and they'll feel good about it. And that's really the keys to creating value in the world. Down below in the video, you can like and subscribe it. I also have some links to some crypto accounts if you need to invest in that space, or if that's the next thing for you to do, you can open those with the link, or you can just go directly to the sites. I do some of that and cover it in other videos. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.